Very good morning, children. Today we will try to understand the competency based questions from our class 11 psychology chapter human memory. So let us look into this area. So first we will go with assertion reason questions, then MCQs, then we will go to the case based questions. So first question here, assertion reason. Memory is a constructive process rather than a passive storehouse of information. So this is the assertion. Reason. We actively organize and interpret our past experiences while remembering. So you look into this area. Both assertion and reason are true and it is the correct explanation. Memory is actually a constructive process. It is not, whatever we learn, whatever we see, we are not able to reproduce as it is. There will be some modifications are happening. These modifications are indicating the constructive process of memory. So this is the correct answer. So both are true and the both are true and A is the correct explanation. Look into this area. Means A means assertion is the correct explanation of reason. Now let's make a move to the question number 2. In stage modal theory of memory, information flows from long-term memory to short-term to sensory. Assertion is wrong here. Why? As per Atkinson and Schifrin's stage modal theory, first is information goes to sensory memory, from the sensory to short term, then the short term to long term. That is the process. So assertion is clearly wrong, false. Reason. Atkinson Schifrin model states that memory storage moves in a reverse order to strengthen the retention. Again it is false. Both A and R are false here. See the answer also I made it here. Now topic number 3, types of long-term memory. Assertion. Remembering how to type on a keyboard without consciously recalling each key is an example of procedural memory. Procedural memory means, remembering how to type on a keyboard without consciously recalling each key is an example of procedural memory. Yes, true. There is a procedure is involved. Like for example, making a cup of tea. First you have to boil the water. In the water you will drop the tea powder or something. This process basically So A is true. Now R, what exactly? Procedural memory refers to the memory of general facts. No, it is not the memory of general facts and meanings. So A is true, R is false. The general facts related memory, we call it as the semantic memory. It is the semantic memory, but it is semantics we are calling. Now the question number 4. When new learning hampers the recall of old information, it is called proactive interference. Retroactive inhibition, proactive inhibition is there. What is proactive inhibition? First you need to understand. Here what they are saying, when new learning hampers the recall of old information, it is called as proactive. No, A is false here. In proactive interference, old learning interferes with the new learning. No. See, here it is. A is false very clearly. In proactive learning, proactive inhibition or interference, old learning is going to interfere the recall of the new learning. Yes. So reason is right, assertion is false here. You need to understand retroactive inhibition. You will learn list A, then you will learn list B, then after some time you will learn list C. When you try to recall the list B, list C is interfering. That is called retroactive inhibition. Means you're trying to recall the past and the present or the new one is interfering. That is retroactive inhibition. Now look into this area. Proactive inhibition is something when you try to recall the current learning, your past learning is troubling you. That is the proactive inhibition. Now the question number 5, enhancing memory. You see assertion here, mnemonics improve memory. Yes, mnemonics using, you see, mnemonics basically are the keyword method of Loki. These all will improve your memory. Yes, true, it is improve memory because they help to organize the information. Now the reason, organized information can be easily encoded and retrieved from long term memory. That is, you see here it is, both are true and it is the correct explanation. Organized information can be easily encoded and retrieved from the long term memory. Hope all the 5 assertion reason questions are clear to you. You can see the explanation how the mnemonics work by linking and structuring information, aiding efficient encoding and recall. Now let's go to the next area. Ria was able to recall her friend's birthday when someone mentioned the month of June. Which psychological process best explains this ability? Is memory. So someone is able to recall the friend's birthday when there was a clue was given, her birthday in the month of June or July, like this. Immediately the child was able to recall. That is basically the memory, the process here. Now the nature of memory, you see. When you remember the direction to your school and use them daily without consciously thinking, it shows which feature of memory. Memory is an active process of reconstruction, you see. For example, your parents drop you to the school. You're coming to the school with your parents. After 1 month of time, you come alone. You start from your home and you're able to locate it and you're able to successfully reach to your school alone. That is basically, see, memory is a active process of reconstruction. According to Atkinson-Shiffrin, which sequence correctly represents the flow of information? See, the sensory, short term and long term. There is no information here. Information is the primary one. If there is no information, there is no sensory. There is no sensory, there is no short term. There is no short term, there is no long term. This is according to stage modal theory of memory. Now, memory systems, sensory, short term and long term memories. Arrow could recall only the last few words of a long sentence. This phenomena is most closely related to which type of memory? Short term memory. Fully you discuss the topic, but the child will be able to hold the ending points of the topic. That is called short term memory. If you briefly see a lightning flash and retain its image for a fraction of a second, which memory system is at work actually? You see, here it is. This is sensory memory. Briefly see a lightning flash. Whenever you see sensory memory, you just see something. Whatever you see in this world, that all together is your sensory memory. Now let's make a move to the next area, levels of processing. According to the levels of processing theory, which type of processing will lead to better memory retention? Deep semantic processing, deep processing. Always you see, when you learn, majority of you people, what you do, when there is a logical subject is there, you don't think about the learned concepts. When you think in deep about whatever you learn, that will be the leading to much better learning, much better memory development. Now, remembering how to ride a bicycle even after years of not doing is an example of which type of memory? You see, here it is. This is called procedural memory. If the same question, if I ask to you, remembering how to ride a bicycle or taking a cycle after 10 years, again riding it in a proper way, that is the skill learning. All the skills, whatever you learn, you will never forget. In chapter 6 learning topic, skill learning is there. There are three phases: cognitive, associative, autonomous. Now if you come to the same topic, same question, you see which memory means it's a procedural memory, actually process oriented. Meera recalls her first day at school vividly. This is an example of what kind of memory? Episodic memory. It is the episodic memory. Episodes, like a TV serial episodes, you see here it is. You're going to remember first year how it was like, second year how it was, third grade or grade 10, grade 9, like this way this is. Knowing that Delhi is the capital of India reflects what exactly? Semantic memory. Semantics. It's basically related to the facts. Delhi is the capital of India. Taj Mahal located in Agra. You see, these are all what exactly? Semantic memory. Now, while studying new formulas, Ritu finds it hard to recall the old ones. Which type of interference is this? This is called the retroactive inhibition, retroactive interference. You see here it is, guys. This is while studying the new formulas, Ritu finds hard to recall the old ones. Okay, when you learn the new thing, it will be difficult to recall the past. I told you, list A, list B, list C you take. When you learn list C, before that you learn list A, B. Now you are learning list C. When you try to recall the list B, list C is troubling you. That is basically retroactive inhibition. Forgetting old mobile numbers after getting a new one is an example of retroactive inhibition. Information that fades over time because memory traces weaken supports. Which theory it is? You see, trace decay theory. What is trace decay? If you learn today, if you don't relearn, if you don't remember, if you don't practice, that information will disappear. That is called forgetting due to trace decay. When you know something but you can't recall it until given a clue, which process is at work? You see, when you know something, but if I don't give a clue, you will not be able to recall. That is called as retrieval failure. A student links the word apple with an image of a red fruit and a company logo to remember it better. This technique is what, guys, here? Mnemonics using images. You see, you're trying to remember. You go to your kitchen. What is missing? Or you see the refrigerator. What is missing? In the first tray you are keeping the eggs. So that is empty. So you see here, you are trying to build your memory through the images. How to refill, how to reorganize. These are all basically. You are remembering things. For example, if you hear the word school, means your own school image will come in your mind. Now, let's go to the next area, guys. Grouping digits of phone number into smaller parts. This is called chunking. Checking, actually. Checking is a technique basically where we divide the entire, the big meaningful sentence into smaller units, smaller parts, so that we can easily remember. Creating a mind map to organize concepts while studying psychology helps because it encourages organization of information. See, the mind map is what? It's basically promoting organization of information. Even when you prepare any one subject, create a mind map. These mind maps are going to be very helpful to you to revise, to do the revision. When you see the mind map, automatically the concepts will come into your mind, you see. Now, extended application questions, basically I will take you to this area, my children, here. Let's go to this area. Two questions are here. Rachit forgot where he parked his car after spending 2 hours in the mall. Later, when he saw a similar car, he immediately remembered where his car was parked. So I didn't make it as a bigger one, better. Identify the type of forgetting, the psychological process involved. You see, memory, you see here, forgetting due to retrieval failure. Retrieval. Means when you get a retrieval cue, you will be able to get it. A teacher asked the students to make funny stories linking words like dog, moon, shoes, and mountain to help remember them for a test. Which memory enhancement technique is used here and how does it help? You see, mnemonics using organization, you see a story method actually, using organization. It helps by creating meaningful associations between unrelated words, improving long-term retention. This is the right answer for this. You see here, mnemonics using organization we are calling. Now let me go to the case studies, my children. Just I made a case study of very short beta, but CBSE case studies are very lengthy because of time constraint. You see, Ravi, a class 11 student, often forgets. The top case study title also I give, the forgetful student. What he studied previous night, especially when he learns multiple subjects back to back. He revises history, then moves to accountancy and finally ends with economics. During test, he recalls economics topics better but struggles to remember history facts. His teacher explains that learning new material sometimes interferes with old learning. She advises him to space out his study sessions and revise older topics frequently. Now Ravi also starts using mnemonic techniques like linking keywords with images or stories and soon notices a big improvement. So see this here, guys, here you see. So what exactly you see here it is. Yes, as per the CBS you have a one mark question and one 2-mark question for every case, my children. Which type of interference actually caused Ravi to forget his history lesson? That is retroactive. In retroactive interference, when you try to recall the current learning, the past learning is going to interfere. You see here history lessons. When he revises history and then moves to accountancy and finally ends with economics. You see, during the test he recalls economics topics better but struggles to remember the history facts. Here you see, in retroactive inhibition it is. Explain how mnemonics helped Ravi to improve his memory. Yes, mnemonics helped Ravi to organize and associate the information. Mnemonics basically will do two things. One is organizing, second one is associating, and they will make your memory better. Not necessary that you should write like this. If you use the word organize and associating with these two keywords, you will get the mark. Now this is the case of Karishma, remembering the accident. You see, Karishma once met with a minor road accident 2 years ago. Though she recovered quickly, she can still recall every small detail. The red car, the sound of horn and even the smell of petrol. However, she cannot remember what she had for lunch yesterday. Her psychology teacher explains that emotional or unusual events often create vivid and long lasting memories, while ordinary daily experiences fade away faster. Karishma's memory of the accident is an example of how emotionally charged events are processed deeply and stored for longer durations in long-term memory. Now see the question. What kind of long-term memory is Karishma's accident memory? And it is an example of episodic memory. You see here it is episodic memory we are calling. You know the episodic memory, it's like a TV serial, episodes of our life actually. Why is Karishma's accidental memory stronger than her memory of lunch yesterday? Emotional and significant events are encoded more deeply, you see. Yes, our life emotional and significant events are getting encoded in a deeper way, forming strong long-term memories, unlike our routine experiences. Routine everyday eating food we will not remember, but some incident which is emotionally connected to us we will never forget in our life. Hope you understand, my children. I covered more than 18 plus 5, 23 plus 2 cases. All these are all higher order thinking questions for you people. I hope you understand, my children. Thank you for watching. Stay connected with us for more updates, more videos.